Dettol.
Dettol. Actually, I also don't know why I picked Dettol.
Today's video is sponsored by Dettol. Your number one choice for
Number one choice for your cleanliness and hygiene.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 7 of PixelStudio Now You Know Season 2, where each one of us will take turns to share interesting topics so that we can all learn something new. There will be a short quiz after the presentation, so you better listen if you want to get full marks, or at least beat Hannah. Today we have Indra, and he'll be sharing about
Dolby Atmos, people. Let's go. Hello everyone, today the subject that I'm going to share with you is on Dolby Atmos, but before we dive into the subject, let's get to know a little bit more about the man who started it all, okay? Meet the man himself, Mr. Dolby. Dolby Labs was founded by Mr. Dolby, Ray Milton Dolby, in London, United Kingdom in 1965. In the same year, he invented the Dolby Noise Reduction System, or Dolby NR, a form of audio signal processing for reducing the background hissing sound on audio tape recordings. His first US patent on the technology was filed in 1969. 4 years later, he moved the company headquarters to US in California, San Fran, in 1976. So it's a very long time, almost like 40 over years ago. And the product they produce are mainly noise reduction systems, which were intended for use in professional recording studios, which aim to improve film sound. Dolby won several awards. Some to mention are the 51st Academy Awards under the Scientific or Technical Award category in 1979. In 1989, he won again in the 61st Academy Award under the Scientific or Technical category, and this is under the Academy Award of Merit. These awards are given out to those to recognize their original developments, resulting in significant improvements in motion picture production and exhibition. He also received the US National Medal of Technology in 1997. He received the honorary doctorate by University of York in 1999, and in 2000, he received the honorary doctorate of science degree from Cambridge University. In 2014, he got inducted into Television Hall of Fame, and in 2015, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, some to mention, okay? So there are more, of course, to his achievement, but these are some of the ones that I think you guys are familiar with. Mr. Dolby died of leukemia on September 12, 2013 at his home in San Fran at the age of 80. So Dolby was survived by his wife Dagmar, 2 sons, Tom and David, and 4 grandchildren. So that's a little bit info about the man himself, Mr. Dolby. Moving on. The first film with Dolby sound was A Clockwork Orange in 1971. Weird movie. I believe some of you have watched this already. Clockwork Orange used Dolby noise reduction on all the premixes and the master files, okay? This film is about a dystopian crime film adapted, produced, and directed by Stanley Kubrick, based on Anthony Burgess' 1962 novel on the same name. It employs disturbing, violent images to comment on psychiatry, juvenile delinquency, youth gang, and other social and political and economic subjects in dystopian near future Britain. So rated R back then, but I think now it's like R21 due to some violence and disturbing images where they put they try to force the eye open with like some pins and stuff. So advisory advice, if you want to check this film out, if you haven't, do so. But Kubrick stuff are all like non-typical, so you should check this guy out. To know more about the Dolby system, moving away from Clockwork Orange, in 1979, Dolby released Dolby Stereo, Dolby Stereo, which includes a noise reduction system in addition to more audio channels. Dolby Stereo could actually contain additional center and surround channels, for the center for the speech mainly. In less than 10 years, 6,000 cinemas worldwide were equipped to use Dolby's stereo sound. Dolby reworked the system slightly for home use and introduced Dolby Surround, which only extracted a surround channel and the more impressive Dolby Pro Logic over here, which was the domestic equivalent of the theatrical Dolby Stereo. Dolby developed a digital surround sound compression scheme for the cinema. Dolby Stereo Digital, now simply called Dolby Digital, was first featured on the 1992 film Batman Returns. introduced to the home theater market as Dolby AC3. Some of you might be familiar with this AC3 format. In 1995, Laserdisc, the super big format which we no longer use, and they released the movie Clear and Present Danger, Harrison Ford. Okay. The format did not become widespread in the consumer market, partly because of the extra hardware that was necessary to make use of it until it was adopted as part of DVD specification. So Dolby developed a digital surround sound compression scheme for the TV series The Simpsons. On June 18, 2010, Dolby introduced Dolby Surround 7.1, okay, and set up theaters worldwide with 7.1 surround speakers to deliver theatrical 7.1 surround sound. The first film to be released with this format was Pixar's Toy Story 3. Not 1, not 2, but Toy Story 3, which was later followed by 50 releases using the format. About 80% of film releases are mixed in Dolby Surround 7.1 by default. Channels and speakers numbers are different, okay? So a 7.1 speaker system not necessarily carry a dedicated 7.1 audio channel signal. It may only carry 5.1 audio channels, and some speakers duplicate some of these channels. For example, a cinema can have 30 to 40 speakers all over, but it does not mean that the movie you're watching carries 20 to 40 channels of audio. It may just be a 5.1, 7.1, or even 9.1 channels of audio for a typical surround configuration. But Dolby Atmos is different. Okay, you will understand this concept better when I elaborate further later in the cinema setup. Okay, moving on. Okay, in April 2012, Dolby introduced Dolby Atmos. This is the latest format that we want to try. Okay, finally, a new cinematic technology adding overhead sound. Okay, from your top, you can hear things from your top. First applied in Pixar's motion picture Brave. In July 2014, Dolby Labs announced plans to bring Atmos to home theater in 2014. The first television show to use the technology on this was Game of Thrones, one of my favorite shows. In May 2019, Dolby decided to add Dolby Atmos to hundreds of newer songs in the music industry. So currently, Apple Music, Amazon HD, and Tidal are the music streaming platforms that offer support for Dolby Atmos audio format. In brief, Dolby Atmos is a new audio format that allows you to hear sound in a 360-degree bubble with its object-oriented audio engineering and its up or down firing speakers. Atmos is changing the way home theaters are set up, and more importantly, how sound is distributed in the room. So to go to basic, what is Dolby Atmos? It is an audio format like stereo sound or surround sound that takes recorded audio from a movie soundtrack or a video game and deliver it out in a more immersive way through a multi-speaker system. So Dolby Atmos gives sound a more three-dimensional effect. Imagine hearing the difference between a helicopter flying a few hundred yards away, comparing it versus directly over your head. That's what Dolby Atmos can do. The audio mixing happens in sound studios where audio engineers take sound effects in movies and digitally move them around in a three-dimensional space or this 3D bubble. When you play the movie back using Dolby Atmos enabled audio devices, you'll be able to hear effects move around you like the audio engineers intended. Of course, to hear Dolby Atmos, you need a Dolby Atmos compatible film or TV show file. Most probably you guys are familiar, like found on Netflix and now on iTunes, as well as Dolby Atmos enabled player and a Dolby Atmos enabled speaker system or soundbar. Can it work on phones and headphones? Yes. The Apple iPhone 11 onwards and their AirPods Pro, AirPods Max are already supporting this system. The Samsung S9, S10, S20, Note 9, Note 10, and Note 20 all have Dolby Atmos features also, which give them cinema quality surround sound, starting from the Galaxy S10 and later. So there is also a Dolby Atmos feature specifically for gaming. You can adjust the setting for Dolby Atmos and other audio options on your phone. Okay. Moving forward, okay, I'm just showing you some formats, some of the traditional formats, just to deep dive a bit on the Dolby Atmos, how are they differ from the traditional 5.1 or 7.1 surround system. As you can see here, these are the conventional home theater speaker setup, 5.1 versus 7.1, okay? We have front, center, right, and surround sound, and the 0.1 denotes the sub. Okay, over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with additional left surround and right surround. So that's 7 with one subwoofer 0.1. Okay. So for like 7.1, we have additional 2 surround speakers placed to the left surround and right surround position. A more advanced home surround setup can go up to 9.2. 0.2 means they have 2 subwoofers. One usually will control the other lower frequency. Okay, but the surround sound are lateral in this setup. For example, if you hear a plane flying towards you, right, you can only hear from the speaker itself, which is positioned on the floor at your eye level or ear level. So it's non-3D in that aspect. For Dolby Atmos, it's different. You can even hear the jet flying over your head. Moving on. So for Dolby Atmos, it expands on existing surround sound system by adding height channels, allowing sound to be interpreted as 3-dimensional objects. Following the release of Atmos for the cinema market, a variety of consumer technologies have been released under the Atmos brand using in-ceiling and up-firing speakers, as you can see in the diagram. Okay, this is in-ceiling and this is up-firing. Alright, basically they have a speaker here on the main speaker to shoot the sound up and bounce it to the wall to go to you where you're positioned. But this one they use 2 additional height speakers, and this one they use 4. So 5.1.2. 0.2 meaning that we have an additional number here to indicate the sound channels coming from the top. Over here 5.1.4, which they have 4 speakers or 4 sound source from the ceiling. Okay, so the upfiring speakers will shoot the audio to the ceiling and use the principle of reflection to create the atmospheric 3D sound. So you can hear the helicopter or rain right above your head, directly above your head, rather than from a lateral sound stage coming from in front of you, like the traditional 5.1 or 7.1 sound setup through using like floor standing speakers. So that's the difference. So if you have the extra budget, audio purists will ask you to go for dedicated ceiling speakers, right? It's more accurate in that sense, because sometimes when you fire the sound up, sometimes it will not reflect to your area. But of course, they have like certain mics for calibration and stuff like that when you buy the system. So here you can see the 5.1.2 and 5.1.4 setup. The last numeral denotes the sound source coming from the top or the ceiling channels. So the 0.2 or 0.4 numeral does not denote the speaker. Okay, it does not denote the speaker. It denotes the sound source actually. Okay, so it's not a speaker, it's sound source. Just to highlight the difference. So for the diagram here, you can see right, 2 and 4. So basically, the sound source from on top can have 2 channels, but it's outputted from 4 speakers, right? So I repeat again, the 0.2 or 0.4 indicates the sound channel rather than the speakers itself. Moving on. Okay, let's talk about the soundstage. Okay, what is soundstage? Soundstage is basically speaker image. The word in the world of audiophiles, soundstage or speaker image is an imaginary 3-dimensional space created by high-fidelity reproduction of sound in a speaker system, either in stereo or multi-directional speakers. In other words, the soundstage allows the listener to hear the location of instruments or sound source when listening to a given piece of music or sound effects in movies. So at the back, you can see this orchestra. Usually on the left, they will have like maybe the string, and on the right at the back, they have the bass player or maybe the horns. So when they play, you can hear all this instrument coming from different positions. So that is the soundstage, or also known as speaker image. Okay, soundstage is speaker image, basically. Okay, what I have here. Okay, additional ceiling speakers and side speakers which will work independently to deliver an object-based surround sounds, which allows you to hear sounds in this 360 bubble. Compared to traditional 5.1 setup where all the speakers on the right will play exactly the same sound, but in Atmos, it's different. Each speaker can carry audio independently at different timing. And in the audio development, the sound engineer can work with 128 channels of independent audio to play with the Atmos, and is capable of routing out to 64 different speakers. So if you can see in the cinema, usually there are like 64 over speakers all the way, and if they have the Atmos particular video or sound, each of these speaker can carry the sound individually. So imagine you have like a fly, right? Flying around, you can see a scene of fly flying around. Go to the left speaker, go to the right speaker, go to the top speaker at individual timing. Okay, imagine when they program the Dolby Atmos, the sound engineer can actually use this like joystick controller and move the sound within the 3D Atmos bubble where you want to go. Okay, it's like a game kind of thing. You can move the sound individually, independent on each speaker. For example, the sound of a helicopter or bumblebee flying around the sound bubble, which is connected to different speakers location in the theater. So it's that specific. The sound of the bee can be in one speaker at one time and move to the other 50 or 60 speakers in the cinema at another time. So it's very immersive in that way. And in home theaters or mobile devices like your phones, this 3D surround sound can also be created virtually using just a minimum of 2 speakers. Imagine that. So the image you see here on the left is actually a Dolby Atmos speaker system by Klipsch, Klipsh, reference series, Klipsch reference series. The audio receiver on the right is by Marantz. If you notice previously, I also use a studio condenser mic by Marantz Pro. So it's the same audio company. The other popular audio receiver brands includes Yamaha, Sony, Onkyo, and Denon. So from here, I want to show you at the back lah. So these are all the different outputs which you connect your speakers to. Okay, these 7s are basically all the different speakers. Point 2 where you connect all your subwoofers. Point 4 is the ceiling speakers. Okay, that's how you connect. Then the rest is all the different outputs. You can put in your DVD here, you can put in your Blu-ray here, you can put in your TV feed here and everything. Below is the output channels for your speakers. Okay, that's for the Dolby Atmos home theater. Then if you see like this, this is how it's set up lah. So if you look at the diagram here, they have more channels here. You got 4 down firing ceiling speakers. You got a subwoofer here. You got 1 center channel here, and they have a surround speaker here and a rear surround speaker here as well. Okay, so you can count basically how many, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0.1, 0.4. That's how you configure. Okay. Next, so if you do not have a room big enough for dedicated speaker and receiver setup, most will use a soundbar setup like what you see on the slide here. Okay, let me quickly go through some of these recommended speakers. It's just my opinion. Okay, in case you want to venture out to Dolby Atmos. First up is the Samsung HWQ950A. It's a 4-piece soundbar. Supports both object-based sound formats like Dolby Atmos and DTS-X. Okay, the competitor for Dolby Atmos is DTS-X. The difference is Dolby Atmos, they can use like up-firing speakers and down actual speakers on the ceiling. But Dolby Atmos, it works, the programming works on the current existing speakers, but they do it in a virtual form lah. Basically, they recreate that the sound coming from the top virtually, not using physical speakers or speakers bouncing the sound from the top ceiling going down. Okay, that's the difference. The good thing about this is 16 real audio channels, and the first soundbar with 11.1.4 speaker configuration, support lossless audio format as well. So this Samsung setup costs you almost $2,000, $1,999. The next one is Sony HT-ST5000. It's a 7.1.2 Dolby Atmos soundbar with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth technology. Also supports like Sony. Sony always support high resolution audio, compatible with FLACs and Apple lossless and stuff like that. It has up-firing speakers at both ends over here. The Samsung also have here up-firing speakers. If you open up this thing, you can see speakers firing upwards. Up-firing speakers have both extreme ends. They have Chromecast built in, and this one is they have 3 HDMI ports. Usually Dolby Atmos soundbars usually come with 1 or 2 max HDMI connectors. This one's slightly more expensive. It's $2,299. It runs Spotify as a controller and support Dolby Atmos and DTS-X also, which does not use the ceiling speakers. Next one is the Sonos Arc. This is around $1,599. The good thing about this, if you have previous Sonos small like table speakers and stuff like that, right? You can use that speakers and connect it to this soundbar and make that as a surround speaker. So it's very modular in that sense. The next one is a JBL Bar 9.1 Atmos soundbar. It's a 5.1.4 channels which can produce cinematic 9.1 surround experience. Has 2 up-firing speakers over here. One here, and also at the main bar. This one you can detach it and place at the back as surround speakers. Okay, has 2 up-firing speakers with full range drivers. It's one of the highest output. It's 820 watts output, so it's quite powerful with detachable battery-powered wireless surround speakers, which you can see, and it also comes with wireless subwoofer as well. So the next one is Vizio Elevate. Take note of all these. Vizio Elevate. It's a 5.1.4 channels. This is a 18 speaker system. Believe it or not, inside this there's like 18 different speakers with a 8-inch wireless subwoofer. It also support Atmos and DTS:X. I did not see this system at our usual AV retailer stores in Singapore. So if you want to get it, it's going to be online, either Amazon SG or something. The rest you can easily find in Harvey Norman and Courts or some specialized AV retailers in Singapore. The next one is the most expensive at $3,890. This is Sennheiser Ambio. Some of us are using the Ambio products. Sennheiser Ambio, it's good enough not to have a subwoofer, right? Because it's big and it can produce the low frequency sounds. So technically they say you don't need a subwoofer, but audio purists still wants a dedicated subwoofer for the extended low frequency range. All right, the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this the list of devices that supports playing Dolby Atmos content and the content provider who produce Dolby Atmos content. Most of us are Netflix subscribers, right? So you just need a soundbar connected to your TV that supports Dolby Atmos. It cannot be any normal TV. Your TV must be able to open up the Netflix app and channel out the Dolby Atmos. Okay, usually most 4K, newer 4K TV can support that. The accompaniment to Atmos is Dolby Vision. So usually when you place when you select Netflix, sometimes they say, "Oh, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision." Dolby Vision is also a new format by Dolby. You can really see clear blacks. It's solid black. There's no sparkle of whites in that. Dolby Vision accompanies Dolby Atmos. So I will not elaborate on Dolby Vision. That can be another sharing. Other hardware that can play back Dolby Atmos are Xbox. Okay, the new Xbox machine, those are the hardware. Apple TV 4K, you can see here. Roku media player, some soundbars, and Kaleidescape also is actually a hardware provider to play Dolby Atmos. The content providers here are some to mention. Apart from Netflix, we have Disney Plus. Okay, they have some movies and programs that utilizes Dolby Atmos. HBO Max for Game of Thrones, of course. Apple TV, and for some of their movies, Amazon Prime, and others which are not so popular in Singapore, which is Redbox, Vudu, and Kaleidescape. But I just want to highlight this Kaleidescape. So if you go to that level, I just want to point out the Kaleidescape. It is capable of giving you the very best sound and picture for Dolby Atmos. Why? Because it offers a bit-to-bit Dolby Atmos sound reproduction of the original motion picture and has the largest collection of Dolby Atmos blockbusters movie, believe it or not. It is a sophisticated movie purchasing and archival system designed for serious movie aficionados and requires a high-performance Dolby Atmos home theater system. So, though if you want to use soundboard, forget it. You need a dedicated Dolby Atmos theater system, like the Clips reference series or the Nakamichi one. It's also very good. So it's a bit perfect quality content delivered right to a personal server. Okay, you need to have a personal server, so exactly the way the director intended. Okay, it's bit perfect quality. So this is the supreme creme de la creme. Definitely delivers better picture and sound qualities compared to 4K Blu-ray discs. It is that good. Okay, so it's not for mere mortals. So in conclusion, Dolby Atmos started out in theater systems and slowly moved over to our homes via dedicated speakers and receiver systems, or via Atmos soundbars. You can even get Dolby Atmos sound via 2 speakers, but in a virtual reproduction sound. Okay, but that is how they get the immersive sound to the mobile phones. When I first tried Dolby Atmos sound on my phone, the sound can actually float around the phone and doesn't seem to directly come from the speakers on the phone. I was initially wowed by it. I thought, wow, this is quite cool. So the sound is coming from this side, that side. It's a virtual reproduction of surround sound. And I will recommend this Dolby Atmos setup for our upcoming immersive room at some of our libraries. So for you out there, stay tuned. Dolby Atmos will come to a library near you soon. That's it for me. Thank you for your attention, and let's go to the quiz.
At most what?
THX, It's not wrong subject, Hafiz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. Answer before the time is run out. In Dolby Atmos, what does the numeral 4 in 5.1.4 denotes? Set up 5.1.4. You got 20 seconds to answer. Besides this just now, everyone has answered. Very good. Top speaker. Other answer, let's see. Except one answer. 4 channels. 4 channels of what?
I know it's the up firing one or the ceiling
Correct.
one, but it's just that because you asked what does the 4 denote, so it's 4
Correct.
channels.
Okay, 4 channels. I can accept. It's 4 channels, correct. Number of ceiling speakers, wrong. It's actually the channels. So you can have four speakers there, but actually 2 channels. So they are replicating. I emphasized it just now. Sound channels, correct. Top speakers, wrong. Wrong. Right? It's the channel. The sound coming from where?
From what period?
No lah, it could be from bouncing off the ceilings, or it could have been the speakers that are being placed on top. I mean, that's what I meant.
One of the correct answer is sound source coming from the top or the ceiling.
Sound source. Yeah, sound source lah. Sound source. Next, question 2.
Oh, actually, I can call Joel right now or Shafiq to distract them so that they can answer.
Walao eh.
How many channels of sound does Dolby Atmos provide for programming for a typical cinema system? How many? The maximum number is 3 digit. I give you the clue. It's 3 digit. How many channels of sound does Dolby Atmos provide for programming for a typical cinema system? Cinema, not your home, huh?
Hopefully I got it correct.
3 digit. 1 to 8, correct. 64 is the number of speakers.
Wow.
Okay. 64 wrong. 1 to 8 channels, correct.
Lucky you say 3 digit. I was almost 64.
I give you a clue.
Okay, I think I really need to call Joel.
Hey, walao, don't be so mean. Don't be mean.
You want to use a lifeline, Hafiz?
Or you or call Rayan lah, both of us, all of us. See the top.
Why you don't call Hana?
Question 3. Question
Yeah.
3. Besides Samsung and Sony, name another brand of a Dolby Atmos soundbar presented just now. I have Samsung, I got Sony, I got one very popular one, I think you all know.
Got how many R? Just on you. The one. The one that start with M.
Oh, you M ah?
M?
Is it?
Have me?
Oh, am I wrong? Okay,
Yes,
maybe
M
I'm wrong.
ah.
No, don't remember.
M? Apple?
I guess I'm wrong. Lol.
Wrong. Sonos 3. Oh, Sonos? The Sennheiser, nobody want it? Nobody
I
use
put Sennheiser.
I put Sennheiser.
Yeah,
Sennheiser, okay, accept more answer. See? So you guys, okay, Sennheiser, Sonos, what's the other one? Vizio, okay. So,
Hafiz, why are you at the bottom now?
come on, Hafiz!
For this quiz.
Next one. Question 4. A soundstage is an imaginary 3-dimensional space created by high-fidelity sound in a speaker system. What is another word for a soundstage? You make something. You make something.
Oh, no.
Time's up.
Image.
Speaker image. Somebody got it right.
Is it Hannah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking knew it!
Speaker image. Okay, speaker image. Or position now, okay? Right, question 5. Answer before the time runs out. You guys need to know this, guys. This is what we're going to explore in PixelStudio. In 1971, the first film with Dolby sound was...
Wow.
Lama.
No MCQ ah.
No.
I forgot
Okay, my
what's it.
cue, my clue to you is 1971. It's not Dolby Atmos. It's Dolby. Dolby sound.
You mentioned, right? All the
Yes,
film
I
students.
mentioned. Yeah, the students. See, you all give you answer already.
Because I watched before.
Oh, you watched before.
Yeah, a bit disturbing.
Yeah, I felt a bit disturbing. Clockwork Orange, correct. Alright, something orange.
I forgot the name of it. I remember something
Clockwork
about
Orange, correct.
Something orange.
Correct.
Mandarin
Correct.
orange lah.
Stanley Kubrick, Clockwork Orange. If you guys want to borrow, like I explained, it has a reference copy which we can borrow. You can watch. A bit disturbing. A bit disturbing. I don't quite like it. I watch one can enough already. Right, next
The
one.
cult film lah.
Kubrick is like that. Oh, yeah.
Wow, cannot catch up really lah.
Question 6.
If Squid Game, I eliminated.
Dolby Atmos contents needs to be played through compatible hardware devices like a Blu-ray player with a receiver. Name another device presented.
Wow.
There's a few lah, right? There's a few. Besides a Blu-ray and a receiver, what other hardware can you use to get Dolby Atmos from? Come on, guys. Come on. What's that? The all-in-one soundbar lah.
Yeah.
Soundbar. Okay, correct. XLR. Moran subwoofer wrong.
Any back. Desperate already just say SLR.
XLR.
Oh,
So it's someone. Shafiq not bad. Shafiq and Hannah, good job.
Joe, why you want to laugh also? You get wrong also. Why you laughing at me for?
okay lah, but XLR very big lah.
XLR is a connector, right? Yeah. Alright, next one. Let's go. Question 7.
Hey, we
Okay,
really
you know what?
far ahead from Hannah.
Netflix is one of the content providers. Name another. Besides Netflix, who else can provide Dolby Atmos content?
Oh,
Got a few you all know lah. 2 or 3 is very popular.
Wow, Indra, you tekan us no MCQs this one.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, let's say except Disney Plus, correct.
Amazon correct, right?
Amazon correct. Hulu.
What's Hoodoo?
Hulu You think you mean Hulu lah?
I think I was thinking of the one that has 2 U's. I think it's either Voodoo.
But I think Indra's what is Voodoo, is it? DUDU.
Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Apple TV, Amazon Prime.
Okay lah, Shafiq, let's go. Let's go this time.
Hey, don't. No.
What don't?
Question
You're
8.
not the
What is
first
the
one anyway.
speaker configuration of this Dolby Atmos home theater setup? Going count.
Oh.
What
ES,
point what? Going count how many speakers, how many subwoofers, and how many ceiling speakers. That's your clue.
You know what? I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna win anyway. So
I thought my IP address can.
Yeah, like IP address.
Accept my answers. What IP address?
Wow, Shafiq.
Wow, Shafiq
7.145, correct.
Oh, IP address.
7. Salah, 4.1, 7. There's 7 speakers, 1 subwoofer, and 4 ceiling speakers. Okay, Shafiq, not bad.
Yeah, for some reason this one
5.148. How come you got 8 ceiling speakers?
Where's the 8 really?
Where you get
Where did that come from?
Oh, you count the 8 speakers, is it? The floor speakers.
Yeah, I can't really tell. So
Right,
I thought
but
the floor one was the
First
the 4 behind also.
No,
No, as in the last digit is
always the
top.
correct, because traditional is 5.1, 7.1, right? 7 speakers plus 1 subwoofer. Then with Atmos, they add another numeral, which is
I
the
thought
speaking speaker.
the up firing speaker was considered the last
Floor.
digit also.
Correct lah. Yeah, correct.
But there's no up firing speakers here, is it?
Yeah, it's 4 top
I
speakers.
see.
Yep.
So the 7 comes from the bottom, is it? The
Yes.
speakers
The
that are
surround
top.
speakers, right?
Surround speakers, 2 surround speakers at the back, rear surround, 2 at the sides, 2 front speakers in front, plus the center speaker. Center speaker also is part of the configuration, okay?
Oh.
Yeah. So you guys need to know, this is standard home theater stuff, okay?
Just now I counted anyway. I think I counted 6.
You counted IP address.
255.55. Name one music streaming platform that offers support and provides music contents in Dolby Atmos.
Oh dear.
Spotify,
that
right?
one.
Did I mention Spotify?
Spotify.
Did Tidal?
Oh no, I know.
Something lemon
YouTube Music.
Technically, yes, also lah. Right.
You mentioned Tidal, is it?
Yes, correct.
Oh.
Apple
Yeah.
Music, yeah. Most of
no
them, yeah. Apple is the easiest.
Oh,
lah.
Amazon HD is the music.
Oh,
Ah.
we got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we solved the mystery.
The confusion.
So many
confusion.
platforms.
But Tidal is quite interesting. It's by Jay-Z.
You try, right? Yeah, yep.
Yeah. But I think quite expensive compared to Spotify.
Is that how much?
For me, I just use Apple Music. It's good enough.
Oh, I use
Download
Spotify.
all lossless. Yeah. Okay lah, $1 plus, right? One music. Then you buy the album, maybe $7, $7 or $10. even cheaper than buying a CD. Okay, question, last one. What is Mr.
Wow.
Dolby's middle name?
Alamak.
Wah.
Haha, I
Why?
decided.
Of all questions, why is this not open-ended? I could be very creative
Yeah,
with
you
this.
know. Come on, MCQ.
Rayan,
Come on,
is it?
come on,
Is it
come
Rayan?
on.
Rayan?
Yes,
Oh,
Ray.
it's Milton.
Ray.
Milton.
Ray is his first
Dolby,
name.
Milton.
Yay.
Ray Dolby. Ray Milton Dolby.
You should have made this open-ended. I would have so much fun with this.
Okay. So the winner is
Oh, what a
still
surprise.
the same.
Yeah.
Miss Hannah. Yay. 5 points.
Thank you.
How about we
Okay.
celebrate the one who's the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
THX. If you put Dolby direct, maybe you get more points. Please.
Number one loser.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for participating, guys. Hope you guys get to know more about the Dolby system and do experience yourself if you have the opportunity.
Thank you everyone for participating in this quiz and congratulations to Hannah for being the top scorer. We hope that everyone has learned something new today on today's episode. Thank you for watching our video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up to our channel and subscribe to our channel to see more. See you on our next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, guys. Thanks.